Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be taking a look at the PBC fight between ERISLANDY LARA and Thomas Lamanna, and then summarize a few things that will help you to achieve that hellacious and ferocious show-stopping knockout. So this particular fight was actually scheduled for the WBA World Middleweight Championship. That was a vacant title at the time of this fight. Right guys, if you haven't already and for some reason you're surprised that you haven't when you know you should have, then just go ahead and take this time to hit that subscribe button. I mean, while you're there, you might as well just go ahead and hit the like button. I mean, it saves you some time, I'm just saying. Anyway guys, I'm gonna roll the tape. Let's get straight into the action.
Lara moving up in weight. Reach advantage still goes to Lara. Again, Lara, really the class of this fight, but he's getting a little older. Lamanna gets his shot at a big name and a belt of sorts. We go to the ring. And Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, from Dignity Health Sports Park here in Carson, California, Premier Boxing Champions presents the Fox Sports PBC featured attraction, brought to you by TGB Promotions and sponsored by Geico. Whether you rent or own, Geico makes it easy to bundle car and home insurance. Go to geico.com today. This bout is sanctioned by the WBA, the president, Gilberto Jesus Mendoza. Judging at ringside, Sergio Cais, Robert Hoyle, and Ron Scott Stevens. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the vacant WBA Middleweight Championship of the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Carson, California, it's time for the Fox Sports PBC main event of the evening. Introducing to you first, on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing red trunks with silver and white trim, joining us from Belleville, New Jersey. He weighed in at a ready 159 pounds with a record of 30 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw. He has 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Here is the world-ranked middleweight contender, introducing Thomas Cornflake Lamanna. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, this vacant world championship attraction, wearing gold trunks with white trim, originally from Guantanamo, Cuba, now fighting out of Houston, Texas. He weighed in at 159 and 1/2 pounds with a record of 27 wins, 3 losses and 3 draws. He has 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the 2-time and current 154-pound champion of the world, introducing ERISLANDY, the American Dream, Lara. And referee in charge now to give instructions, Thomas Taylor.
Mouthpiece. Chief second, boxer. Mouthpiece, let me see the mouthpiece. Mouthpiece. Okay, gentlemen, hang on. Belt line is good here, belt line is good here. I gave your instructions in the back. Protect yourselves at all times, listen to my commands. Touch them up. Good luck, gentlemen. Good.
ERISLANDY LARA, Thomas Lamanna. By the way, the tale of the tape was brought to you by Credible.com. Lamanna, big step up in class. Lara, 38 years old. Again, a long time top 10, if not top 5 fighter at 154 pounds. Highly respected, highly feared, a guy who's fought the best in the world. Lost a close competitive split decision to Canelo Alvarez way back in 2014. But here he keeps campaigning at the age of 38, and you wonder, can Thomas Lamanna hang with the big boy?
I think Lamanna's in great shape. I think he's really learned from his losses, especially against Cota.
Watch the feet, gentlemen.
He's gone to work. I talk to him every so often by text and phone, and he's worked hard for this fight. He had about 140 rounds of sparring against southpaws. I think he'll make a good accounting of himself here, but he's in with one of the best who ever laced him up. So,
such a high level of skill, Jim.
Yeah.
You see right there, he's just able to get under that right hand so deftly. Lara is so highly skilled. And Lamanna said, hey, look, I'm going to get after this guy. I hope I don't have to bring my track shoes. So far, Lara is the one stepping to Lamanna. Good, hard left hand straight up the middle. Again.
And Lamanna said that he was always concerned about that punch, but here he sees it straight in the first round, that left coming straight through.
It did, and what he did was after,
oh, that hurt him right there. That is a quick, lightning fast left hand from Lara.
See, and that's because he's walking straight in, Lamanna. He's got to really come in from the left or right side. Take your pick, but you can't walk straight in. These guys live off the guys walking.
Down he goes, one left hand, and Lara puts Lamanna on his back, and his fight is over. One shot, it's over.
Let me tell you, Lamanna was saying that, you know, he was concerned about Lara's left hand, and he didn't see it. And usually the punch that knocks you out, you don't see.
You know, he was even talking brave when we were talking to him, Lennox, earlier this week, but he said, hey, look, I think he's got flat tires, but I know he's got a shotgun left. So he was aware of it, and yet it's different when you see it in person.
Absolutely.
But Bri, you saw how Lara set him up for that. He threw about 4 straight right hands right down the middle. He got Lamanna to start closing up the middle, and then he went around the guard with that little looping left hand and just caught him flush.
Right, guys, so a complete show-stopping knockout there from Lara against the younger athlete Thomas Lamanna. So in terms of technical demonstrations, you guys have to understand, in the ring, Lara is by far my favorite boxer. I know sometimes he gets a little too inactive, but when he does put things together, there's a certain elegance that accompanies his work. When we look at Lara's knockout, there are 2 things of interest that I believe that he did to contribute to the success of the knockout punch. Now, the first one is Lara's movement and positioning. Just to give you some context, when a shorter fighter, in this case Lara, who measures up to 5'9", fights a taller fighter, Thomas Lamanna, who measures up to 6'1", you saw the stats at the beginning, there's an automatic tactical conflict that arises between them, and what they are both looking to control, or at least understand, almost to advance through this momentary conflict, is distance. That is the currency that enables them to impose themselves over the other boxer, and in that sense, that is to find ways to get to the range that enables them to throw their particular punch while negating the opponent's chances to do the same. So normally the taller fighter would have a longer range, or at least a vantage position of height from which to punch downward to his opponent. Luckily for Lara, as you saw at the beginning, he actually has a greater reach than Lamanna. So the only thing he needs to consider is where Lamanna might target him if Lamanna manages to get to the preferred range. Now, because of the difference, Lara's head is the primary target for Lamanna, as it is closer to Lamanna's hands. For Lara, the primary target for him becomes Lamanna's torso because of the same reason. What Lara decides to do is change his height by dipping. This did 2 things to benefit Lara. It reduced the accuracy of Lamanna's punches when he tried to aim for Lara's head, which then had a domino effect of causing Lamanna to either hesitate before throwing his punches, or prompting him to get closer to improve upon his accuracy. The next thing it did, which was the more interesting in this case, was to give Lamanna the impression that Lara was attempting to target his torso. You have to think about a feint. Now, Lara did target Lamanna's torso during the fight, but this only gave Lamanna more reason to believe in this posture. So the dips were almost like feints. So the resulting effect was that Lamanna began lowering his arms to defend, against anticipated body punches from Lara's deceptive dip movements, which almost behaved like feints. Normally you would use the forearms or elbows to defend against body punches, or even just take a small step back. If I were to perform this risky move of lowering my arms, I would definitely take a step back to clear the range of any chance that it could be a feint. This is what Lamanna did not do. So Lamanna's mistake was lowering the arms and holding his feet in the same positions. You cannot do both in terms of holding your feet and lowering your arms. You cannot do both. The second thing that Lara did to contribute to the success of the knockout was the backhand punch selection. Now, just on the backhand itself, if you look at the stances, Southpaw Lara and Orthodox Lamanna, the backhand is a special punch for both fighters to use against each other. The reason for this is due largely to the angle that the punch can be thrown to land on the opponent. The backhand can take many awkward angles. It can follow angles for the uppercut, which is a standard punch. Another standard punch would be the hook. That is another angle. And all of these punches are directing in towards the opponent's open side. Now the bolo punch, which is another particular angle that it can take, it's almost like an uppercut and a hook. So if you think of the uppercut coming down below and then up, the hook coming around, the bolo punch is directed in between. It takes the angle in between those particular punches. Now, another awkward trajectory for the backhand is the overhand, and that was the particular shot that Lara used in this fight. If we take a quick listen again to the commentator Joe Goosen, he states in this video about how Lara set up the overhand left by landing the straight and then looping the left to come over the right hand of Lamanna.
Bri, you saw how Lara set him up for that. He threw about 4 straight right hands right down the middle. He got Lamanna to start closing up the middle, and then he went around the guard with that little looping left hand.
Now guys, this is true, but it only reveals half of Lara's nuanced application of skill. If we actually look at what Lamanna does, this tells us what he's thinking and perhaps the trap or deceptive play that Lara used against Lamanna. What Lamanna does, despite getting tagged straight down the pipe numerous times, is to drop his hands.
Like to say middleweight champion of the world.
And here's the replay. Here it goes.
Oh my goodness.
See,
like to say middleweight champion of the world.
And here's the replay. Here it goes.
Oh my goodness.
See,
This ultimately tells us that he anticipated a body shot. If you're getting tagged straight down the middle, you would close up the middle and keep your hands close. Now, Lara didn't really throw too many body shots, but what he did do was dip a lot. And this is always a movement that causes the taller fighter to think about protecting the body. Another thing to take note of is the technique of the punch that Lara used, where the knuckles are incident upon the target area and the elbow is slightly raised, so that you have a palm facing down or palm facing away from the opponent situation. That particular style of boxing and technique is always beautiful to watch, and this is in short how Lara knocked out Lamanna inside 1 round for the WBA World Middleweight Championship. Anyway guys, that's all for now. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please remember to smash the like button if you have enjoyed watching this particular update. Leave a comment in the comment section if you want to add anything about Lara's knockout. If you want to add anything about the technique, maybe you have your own view about how he achieved success in this particular situation against Lamanna, please leave it within the comment section. And until my next one, I'll see you guys soon. Peace.